So you want to play the First Descendant. What should you do in the early game? What should you do in the end game? What characters should you focus on? What guns to get? Oh, there's so much to do in this game now. Well, let me tell you something. So, before I do that, subscribe to the channel. Sometimes I talk about games. Sometimes I may or may not do some guides. I don't know. I'm just trying to do something on this channel, really. But, hey, support a new channel. You don't have to watch me all the time. But hey, if you see something good, maybe give the video a watch. Subscribe. So, let's get on to the topic of the video. You're trying to get into this game. You don't know what to do. As per usual in these games, if you've played games like Destiny, you've played games like Warframe, you've played games like Borderlands, majority of the time, the story in these games don't really matter. They're just there to fill the space, you know, things like that. I think for the most part, I am a part of that player base that I don't really care too much about the story. I'm here for the gameplay, and to me, the First Descendants was a good game, gameplay-wise, for a bit. Right now, it's okay. Now, not to make you not want to play the game, I still think the game is fun, up until you pretty much have nothing to do. Like, if I just press, where is it? The library. I quite literally have everything in the game. I have all the Descendants. I have them all. I have all the weapons. And they're all maxed out. I think one says I don't have it, but I do. Like, it's right here. It literally says 4 out of 4. Technically, it's 5 because you have the base one plus the 4 uniques to upgrade the unique ability of legendary weapons. I have all the dogs. I have all the vehicles. And all this stuff. Right? So, if you're at the point of the game like I am, and you're kind of done with everything, you know, the game is not as fun as it is. You kind of do your thing. If there's new content, you come back. But not to overwhelm you guys, we're going to talk about the beginning of the game, where there is a lot to do. So, let's talk about that. Inappropriate nickname. Amazing. So, you don't gotta worry about, I think, the weekend shop too much just yet. You probably won't really have that much material, even though it's kind of easy to farm. All of this stuff, weapon levels and all that stuff, you will learn as you play, but let's just try to go, you know, solely character based, alright? Because you don't want to be too worried about, oh, I have to put a weapon core on my gun, you know? I gotta put external component cores. Oh, what's all this stuff? You know, don't worry about that. Honestly, it doesn't make that much of a difference if your character is just strong as hell, right? And this problem, or this game, kind of has the same problem that Warframe has, where once you get to like the end of the game, guns don't really matter all that much. And so, yeah. And I will say a lot of the Descendants in this game are already really, really strong. And so, yeah. Where should I start? The beginning of the game. In the beginning. You know, the Optimus Prime's voice line from the first movie. In the beginning. So you're going to get Bunny. Now, before you get Bunny, you get these 3 bimbos. I wish it would actually just stop resetting to the beginning. So you're going to get Lepic, you're going to get Viessa, you're going to get Ajax. Of course, your Ajax is not going to look like this. But you're going to get these 3 characters, you're going to choose them. Now, what I would say is, get yourself Ajax, because I love my boy. Super good, super strong. Ultimate Ajax is literally probably the second most busted, OP, disgusting, overtuned character descendant in this game. But you can go Lepic. Lepic is probably your more CC heavy character, but I would say go Ajax anyways, because once you get, and I have to check if you can use Mobile Fortress on, where is it? Oh no, you can't use Mobile Fortress on Ultimate Ajax. Well, I would still go Ajax, because what you would go is this jumping Ajax build, right? And this jumping Ajax build is busted, disgusting, destroys everything. All right. Now you don't need to worry about these answers to mods because they're just straight up cap. They're stupid. They don't need to be in the game. It's just really, really dumb. All right. So instead of this Transcendent, instead of this Ancestor mod, you probably go for what? I think you would go for non-attribute focus or tech focus. Where is it? Let me find it for you people, so you know what I'm talking about. And put by capacity cost. And yeah, so you see this focus on electric? It's going to be focused on tech. I mean, literally just type it in here. Yeah, you put focus on tech, and then you get a little bit of cooldown too. Yeah, it makes sure it's attack because power increase is your battle. If you want to battle, then you would go. Oh, I'm fat fingering. You go focus on non-attribute. Power increase just gives you a crap ton of power, or damage. But if you like the cooldown, you like the spam ability, go focus on non-attribute, focus on tech, and you're good, right? But yeah, that is what you can do on your normal Ajax. And then once you're at the end game, and this is just one way, let me remind you of playing the beginning. Once you get to the end game, you can use your Photon Implanter and then just transfer over all your stuff into Ultimate Ajax once you farmed up Ultimate Ajax. Now, option number 2 is get your Ajax. The very first mission that you do in the game is, or one of the sub-missions, I would say, in normal mode, in Kingston, is they'll make you farm bunny crafting items. So you can get yourself a bunny. Now, bunny is very good in this game. Very good for beginners, and is also a skill descendant. They're also going to make you farm a Thunder Cage. Thunder Cage is quite literally one of the most broken games. Guns in this game. Let me show it to you guys real quick. This is a Thunder Cage. Now, you're not going to be at 2.2 million DPS like I am, and sometimes this DPS calculator isn't always correct, but you can use this build. This is more of a mobbing build. And then I think this one was just a weak point one, just for, I think, weak point and crit. I think this one was. But this one was just straight up damage and crit. And then this one is just straight up damage and crit. But you get a little bit more damage because of Sweep the Squad. But yeah, so those are the two things that you're going to get at the very beginning of the game. And as I said before, you can straight up just get your bunny, level her up to RK40, put your things on her, yeah, put your modules on her and all that stuff, get her as built as possible, make her one-shot quite literally everything. Because the same mods that you use on Ultimate Bunny can be used on regular Bunny. The only exception to that rule, let me just freaking put this Transcendent, is high voltage. Now, do you need high voltage? No. I think the high voltage build is trash because you only get a reduced number of enemies that Throw Bomb and Lightning Emission can strike, right? You go from a giant AoE that's actually really good at mobbing everything because it does a giant ring of damage around you to lasers that only hit about, I think, like 3 to 6 or 8 enemies, and it does more damage if you like the big numbers. But like, why would you care about the big numbers when you get a giant circle of death around you, right? Now, this bunny is not min-maxed, it's not hyper built, and I don't even think you're going to use like Wave Eruption anymore on this. I think you go. Actually, I don't know what you go. Yeah, I don't really play Bunny all that much anymore, if you could tell. But yeah, you probably don't even go Wave Eruption anymore. But you still do the same build. And instead of Electric Condense, you don't even put this on. It saves you a lot of room. But I have it on because I was using it mostly just to clear out one of the worst missions in the game, Void Vest. I think that's what it's called. But yeah. So, build up your bunny, go to the hand, Photon Implanter, and then transfer over your regular bunny to Ultimate Bunny. Ultimate Bunny is also very early on, super easy to farm. You could farm your Ultimate Bunny and then do your Ajax if you want, but that's the early game. You do what you please. Get through it as fast as possible. Now, exit without saving. Now, you are at the hard mode. Is it really hard? Not really. It might be harder in Axiom Plains and Sigma Sector. I think that's the only real difficulty spike because of the density of the mobs and the tankiness of the mobs. Now, if you have a built Ajax and you have the Thunder Cage, you don't really got to worry about anything. Just build the Mobile Fortress build and go absolute bonkers ham. Alright? Not that difficult. But if you went Bunny, well, here's the thing. You could try and farm other Descendants. Bunny is awesome. Bunny is amazing. But the thing about the Axiom Plains is that a lot of the bosses or monsters or enemies in that area are more resistant to skill damage. And they have a difference or a split between skill damage and weapon damage. So now what you want to do is either do a couple of things. Go and farm yourself a Freynin. Since you're already at the end game, I would say screw regular Freyna and get yourself Ultimate Freyna. I think I have a preset for her already. Yes. Get yourself an Ultimate Freyna and get yourself the Fallen Hope. This may or may not be the build you want to do, but this Freyna is mostly just my Freyna that I just burn down bosses with, burn down Colossi with, and I do a crit Freyna version. You could go a non-attribute Freyna. This is the mobbing build, Toxic Cohesion. And, you know, go absolute ham. The thing that makes this Freyna work is Infected Weapon. And you're not going to run Contagion because Contagion is the mobbing build. You're going to go, what is it? I forgot the name of it. Venom Injection. Really good. I think someone was talking about Toxic Mixture, but no. Just go Venom Injection. Venom Synthesis is the other mobbing build. You may see some other videos of Freyna builds that use Venom Synthesis. It's just to make you faster, leaves toxic footprints. It's okay. So, Infected Weapon is what makes and breaks Ultimate Freyna and makes her busted. Now you don't really gotta worry about the Transcendent mod. It's pretty much useless in this case, but because I got skill damage, kit rate, and max shield, I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna run this, I guess. You know? So yeah. What else? You want to get a Serena. Serena is quite literally the most broken Descendant in this game. Depending on where you're at in the future, some of these builds may or may not be obsolete. Even the inversion reinforcement, this changes pretty much every season. So what I'm using now is not going to be what you're using in the future. For the Serena builds at least, this is pretty much it. I know that other people do different builds, especially like this one. So yeah. Let's see. If you're going to play Serena, Eye Typhoon is probably your best gun for mobbing. You could use a Thunder Cage, you could just use the Restored Relic, you could just use the swords and whatnot. Any other guns? Not really. Perforator, mostly for bossing. Hammer and Handful, mobbing. Ancient Knight, bossing. Right? So, these are your guns. Depending on what you like, go and get it. Eye Typhoon, really good. There's something, I think, in Serena's passive that makes it so that... Oh no, it's in her ultimate. Is it? Oh no, it's her second ability. The special rounds additional effects is what makes the Eye Typhoon really good. So, that is that. Anything else I would want to add, really? Not really, because once you get to the end game, oh, get yourself Haley. Haley, amazing, awesome, good, bonkers, if I may say so. All right, get yourself a Frost Watcher. You should already have a Thunder Cage. You don't need the Hive Master. It was just a gun I was leveling up. All right. If anything else, honestly, get yourself the Perforator because it goes really good, or it works really well with her ultimate. And if you do that, you know, make sure you get your camouflage sniping because it's really good at just destroying Colossi. This is my build. I know that I have a bonkers ancestor mod with just all damage rolls, but you could go like cooldown or something, or just crit damage in range like this one. This one is bad. This one is bad. This one is okay, but the minus cooldown is shit. This one's okay, right? Realistically, you want one with cooldown on it, but I just had like 3 damage rolls, and I was like, this is God. Like, I've seen Jesus. So yeah. What else? What else? I think that's about it. Yeah. If I was going to give you guys a TLDR tier list of like Descendants, and you're maybe like, well, I want to run the strongest Descendant, right? Or I want to run like the fastest mobber in the game. Well, I would say then just keep your Ultimate Bunny or get a Haley, because Haley works for everything. Ultimate Ajax works for everything. Serena kinda works for everything. Where's Serena? Serena is a gun-focused Descendant. Now, the thing you can do with Serena is go into her Diva Bomba build, and this makes her 4th ability into a Kamikaze and just like burns everything, which is okay, but her bossing build is the best build. Um, what else? Yeah, I think that's honestly about it. You don't really gotta care about any other these descendants. You could go for Glay because she has infinite ammo, but I don't really like the Glay playstyle all that much, especially since they nerfed Explosive Life and Blood and Iron. Those builds are kind of meh now. You can go and find those videos and see the atrocity, the craziness, the absolute war crimes that Blood and Iron full power Glade can do. Right? Just destroys everything. But yeah, so that got nerfed, but tier list wise, right, for mobbing. This is for mobbing. Bunny number 1, Freyna number 2, Haley number 3, and don't worry about anything else for mobbing. For bossing, alright, going against these like big Mudasukas called Colossi. The normal mode, super easy. You may get hung up at Devour, but Devour is kind of a gun check, but it should be really easy. Power Maniac, kind of the same way. And then Swamp Walker is an absolute joke. Hangman, kind of the same way. But if you have a really strong Descendant, you kind of just trash these guys like no tomorrow. And especially if you built up your Thunder Cage, you trash these guys. Now, you get to hard mode, and you get stomped by mostly Frostwalker a bit, but they nerfed that, so it's super easy. Yeah, everything here should be easy until maybe Gluttony and Deathstalker. Then you may get stuck, but other than that, it's just about building your character up. Like, I would show you, but it would make me not talk, and I would have to like pay attention because I would speed run. But yeah, I don't know what Void Abyss boss will be at the time that people watch this, but whatever it is, good luck. And then the challenge mode, even more good luck. I still haven't even done this one. I don't even think I did the last one. Mostly because the people that I usually play with, they don't really play this game all that much anymore. But this is a very good way to get your 10 cores. Super good. But yeah. Alright. That is that. Did I even say the bossing? Yeah, I was talking about the bosses and where you would get hung up at. Let's see. So, bossing missions. Serena, numero uno. Ajax, numero 2. And after that, you could say Haley, you could say Bunny, you could say Glay. Honestly, every Descendant is pretty decent. Ultimate Descendant wise, other than Haley and Kyle, because they have very specific builds that just absolutely trash certain bosses. But if you just wanted an all-rounder, go for a Serena, go for an Ajax to destroy bosses. And then you can use Serena and Ajax for mobbing as well, or just go Haley. I really love Haley. Really good champ. Really disgusting mobbing build. With Cold Heart, Relative Speed, Speed Dominator, kind of destroys everything. And then when you go into her bossing build, you would just swap out like Cold Heart for like camouflage sniping. And then instead of a Frost Watcher, which you could use the Perforator. And then you kind of melt some bosses with her 4th ability, Sniping. Which is not this. It's this. Zenith. Really cool. But yeah, that is that. I don't want to make this video too long. But yeah, so good luck to you people. I hope this wasn't too boring or too annoying or whatever. But remember to subscribe and see you next time.